Taekwondo made world history when it became one of only two martial arts to be introduced in the Olympics in the year 2000. So you might be wondering to yourself, how did it become so popular to become included in the Olympics? Well, it started in the Korean War in South Korea. The president at the time, he held a little exhibition or a contest to see which of the schools in Korea were the best. They were called Kwan, K-W-A-N, which translates to school. So all the teachers, they performed, and one of them, he impressed the president the most. He broke 13 roof tiles with one hit, which is pretty hard to do. So the president was so impressed that he established the Korean Taekwondo Association in the year 1959, which basically combined all the 7 schools into one big organization, because he wanted to incorporate Taekwondo in the military. So yeah, since then, Taekwondo has grew to be one of the most popular sports in Korea. If you remember last year in Chapel, they brought a high school from Korea to demonstrate Taekwondo. I remember they said that it was mandatory to get a black belt before you could graduate, so it kind of shows you how popular it is. So a little overview, what does Taekwondo stand for? Well, each word has their own separate meaning. Tai stands for to strike with the foot, Kwan stands for to strike with the fist, and Do means the way. So put it all together, it basically translates the way of the fist and feet, which kind of makes sense. Taekwondo, it focuses more on kicking techniques because they believe that the foot is the strongest muscle. They want to go for that one hit and you're done sort of deal. So some basic Korean words that you need to know. Uniform is called a dobak, which if you take Mr. Malik's class, you know it's all or nothing policy. If you forget something, like if you bring your uniform but not your belt, you're done. Like you get shouted at and you can't go into class. So make sure you bring everything, your belt, uniform, sparring gear, because if you don't, you can't participate. Your school is called a dojang. You can kind of see the similarity between the Japanese and Korean languages. I think it's called a dojo in Japanese, so you can kind of see the similarities. And your teacher, we call him Sabonim. My teacher was called Master Lee. He named his own school, YG Lee Taekwondo Academy. That's where I went to. Basically what you do is you practice exercises, anaerobic and aerobic. You practice stretching, sparring, basic kicking techniques, basic punching, and it's like every other sport. You develop flexibility, stamina, endurance, and you improve your mental awareness. So there's really no class structure where I went to. I mean, my teacher was all over the place. I mean, one day we would just practice like stretching for the whole 2 hours. The other time we would just spar the entire class, which is kind of brutal. So the main part of Taekwondo is the belts. Like, if you just wear a uniform and no belt, you look stupid. So you start off. There's 2 categories. You got the junior belts and the senior belts. The junior belts include white, yellow, green, blue, and red, the color belts. You start from 10th Goop, which is spelled G-E-U-P, not G-O-O-P. 10th Goop, which is the white belt, and you work all the way down to red belt black stripe, which is the first year. And once you reach your red belt black stripe, you can get one of these bad boys. The black belt, it's called not Goop, but Dan. So it depends. If you're first degree, you call yourself first Dan, second Dan, third Dan. And there's an age restriction. There's no stripe, so it's not a degree. It's a junior black belt because I was 13, I think, when I got it. So I couldn't qualify for first degree black belt. But the way you move up the ranks it's a lot different for the black belts than the junior belts. For the junior belts, you can wait 6 months between each exam. For the black belts, if you want to move, say, a second degree to a third degree, there's a rule that you have to wait a certain number of years that's equal to the degree you're in. So if you're a second degree, you have to wait 2 years before you advance to your third degree. So you see a guy who's 20 years old and he says he's a 6th degree black belt, you know he's not. So just a little thing to know. So first degree black belt, second degree, it goes all the way to 9th degree. There's been like 10 10th degree black belt, so it's not very common. Most people just accept that 9th degree as the highest rank you can go to, which is a pretty big achievement. You have to put a lot of years. I think you're in like your 50s or your 60s when you get to 9th degree, so it's pretty impressive. And how do you get promoted? Basically, when you take these exams, you have to memorize a certain pattern of blocks and kicks. It's called a form or a pumse in Korean. It starts from like white belt, it's a low block, and then high block, low block, high block. It's really simple stuff. And then when you move up to the ranks, they get really complicated. So you have to memorize these forms. You have to perform it in front of the judges, and if you don't, then you fail automatically. So For the black belt test, if you want to qualify for a first degree or a junior black belt, you have to memorize all 10 forms, and basically a teacher can just say, do the first form, do the fourth form, you just do it out of order, and he does it as long as he wants until he feels like you're ready and you know all the basic forms. So, tournaments. The WTF, which does not stand for, you know what, it stands for World Taekwondo Federation. They organize all tournaments, sparring, you know, all that wonderful stuff. You earn medals. Yeah, World Taekwondo Federation organizes all that. So, health and risks. Obviously, you burn a lot of calories. You burn around 730 for an hour if you're 140 pounds. You develop flexibility, stamina, all that good stuff. Injuries, obviously, it's a contact sport, so you're going to get some bruises. I think the worst I got was a sprained ankle. Like, broken ribs doesn't really happen a lot because the only times you actually go into contact with people is when you spar and you wear protective equipment, so broken bones not that common. I think the worst thing that's happened to me is during my red belt test. I don't know, my teacher was in like a bad mood or something. He made us spar for an hour straight, and it was 90 degrees outside, wearing a long sleeve uniform and padding. It got really hot, and I sort of fainted for 10 seconds. So, that was pretty embarrassing. So yeah, obviously there's physical risks, bruises, broken ribs, whatnot. But I can personally attest that weight loss does work. I mean, believe it or not, I used to have a little bit of weight. Like, you look at me now these days saying, dude, you should gain more weight than you do. But yeah, I mean, I started way back in 7th grade, and I took it for 4 years, and I pretty much struck out all the weight, like all the excess weight, and I think a bit too much. So yeah, I can say that Taekwondo, it's a good sport. I mean, if you just want to find something to do, if you want to burn some weight off, you want to build strength, then take Taekwondo. So.